Have you ever felt deep within your soul a longing for something greater than yourself? A purpose so profound that it calls you to rise above every distraction, every fear, and every limitation? That calling, my friends, is not accidental. It is divine. It is the heartbeat of a life lived for Christ. A life that refuses to settle for the ordinary and reaches with urgency toward the extraordinary. Today I want to speak to you about living with that purpose, about waking each day fully aware that your life matters, that your every action, thought, and choice can be a testament to the one who gave you life in the first place. There is a story in the scriptures that teaches us the power of purpose, the necessity of intentional living. It is the story of the faithful servant who used his gifts wisely, who did not bury them in the soil of complacency, but who multiplied them for the glory of God. Each of us is entrusted with gifts, talents, and opportunities, not for personal pride, not for fleeting pleasures, but for the eternal impact that comes from walking in God's plan. Every morning, when you open your eyes, you are presented with a canvas upon which to paint, your testimony, to shine your light in a world that desperately needs it. But here is the truth. The world is not waiting for you to wake up slowly, to stumble along the path. The time is now. The urgency is real. Living for Christ in every moment is not a suggestion. It is a calling. It is a challenge that requires your heart to be fully engaged, your mind to be fully surrendered, and your spirit to be fully ignited. It demands that you look beyond the temporary and the trivial, that you rise above distractions, and that you commit to a standard higher than the one this world sets. Too many of us live as if life is a rehearsal, thinking we have endless tomorrows to correct our mistakes, to pursue our dreams, or to follow our calling. But the reality is that every second is a gift. Every breath is an opportunity to glorify God. Every choice matters. Consider the urgency of the moment. Look at the world around us. So many are lost. So many are searching. So many are crying out for hope. You have been placed here, right now, for such a time as this. To live as though your life is inconsequential is to disregard the very purpose God has given you. Living for Christ is not about a once-a-week church attendance, a Sunday routine, or a casual faith. It is about a relentless pursuit of the will of God in your life, a commitment to honor Him in every decision, every word, every interaction. The time to start is not tomorrow. It is this moment. The opportunity you have now may never come again, and the influence you can wield today can change eternity. Purpose found in Christ transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. Imagine your daily tasks, your relationships, your work, your studies, and even your struggles, all infused with the awareness that you are living for a higher calling. When you see each task as an act of worship, every challenge as an opportunity for growth, and every interaction as a chance to reflect God's love, life changes. The mundane becomes sacred. The impossible becomes possible. The moments you once considered insignificant now carry eternal weight. You must understand that living for Christ requires courage. It requires a willingness to stand against the tide of conformity, to reject the shallow values of this world, and to embrace a life of radical obedience. It requires sacrifice, yes, but not a sacrifice that diminishes you. Rather, it is a sacrifice that enlarges your impact, that amplifies your influence, and that aligns your soul with the divine purpose for which it was created. There is power in living intentionally. There is power in waking up each day and asking, Lord, how can I serve you today? How can I bring your kingdom closer with my thoughts, my actions, and my presence? Do not underestimate the influence of a single life fully surrendered to God. History is filled with ordinary men and women who, by living with purpose, changed the course of nations, uplifted the downtrodden, and brought hope to the hopeless. Their secret was not extraordinary talent or wealth, but a consistent, unwavering commitment to live for something greater than themselves. And make no mistake, you can be that person today. You can be the light that pierces darkness. You can be the voice that speaks truth in a world full of noise, but you cannot wait for permission, for perfect circumstances, or for validation from others. Your purpose is not contingent on their approval. It is rooted in the eternal approval of your Creator. Let us speak about urgency for a moment. There is a fire in the soul of those who truly understand their purpose. It is a fire that refuses to be extinguished by setbacks, criticism, or delay. Urgency is what separates those who dream from those who act, those who hope from those who accomplish. And there is no greater urgency than the urgency to live for Christ. The moments you waste in hesitation, doubt, or distraction are moments the world and your own soul can never recover. Time is not merely money. Time is life itself. And life, when surrendered to Christ, is a powerful force for transformation. Now, I know that life is not easy. I know that obstacles will rise, that trials will test your faith, and that temptation will whisper lies designed to divert you from your path. But I also know this: when your purpose is rooted in Christ, no challenge is insurmountable. No setback is final. No darkness is absolute. The one who walks in divine purpose is shielded by faith, guided by wisdom, and strengthened by the presence of God Himself. Each challenge becomes a stepping stone, each difficulty a lesson, and each moment of doubt an opportunity to cling more tightly to the truth that your life matters immensely. Purpose is not found in fleeting accomplishments, in recognition, or in wealth. It is found in the intentional alignment of your life with God's will. It is found in the joy of serving others, the courage to speak truth, and the discipline to live above the distractions that cloud your mind and spirit. Purpose is found in surrender. And when you discover it, when you truly embrace it, life becomes more than survival. It becomes a mission, a calling, and a legacy. I urge you then to examine your life. Ask yourself, am I living in alignment with the purpose God has placed in my heart? Am I using every moment wisely, as though it were sacred? Am I reflecting Christ in every interaction, in every decision, in every thought? If the answer is anything less than a resounding yes, it is time to make a change. It is time to stop living passively, to stop drifting, and to start living intentionally. The clock is ticking. The opportunities are fleeting. The impact you can make is immeasurable, if only you choose to rise. Living for Christ in every moment is also an invitation to transformation. It is a call to let go of the habits, fears, and mindsets that hold you back. It is a call to embrace humility, patience, and love, even when the world mocks or misunderstands you. It is a call to pursue excellence, not for personal glory, but to honor the one who entrusted you with life itself. Transformation is not instant, but it is inevitable when your heart is fully surrendered. Every day, every decision, every action is a brick in the foundation of a life that matters eternally. I want to remind you of something profoundly important. You were not made for mediocrity. You were not created to blend into the crowd or to live unnoticed. You were made to shine. You were made to inspire. You were made to bring heaven to earth in the way you live your life. Each of us has a sphere of influence: family, friends, colleagues, strangers we meet along the way, and within that sphere lies the power to plant seeds of hope, courage, and faith. You may not see the results immediately, but trust that no act done in obedience to Christ is ever wasted. No word spoken in love is ever forgotten. No life touched with purpose is ever insignificant. So let urgency become your companion. Let purpose become your compass, and let every moment become an opportunity to live as though the eternity of your soul and the lives of others depend on it. Because they do. And here is the promise. When you live for Christ with urgency and devotion, your life will radiate a power and influence beyond anything you could ever achieve on your own. You will inspire courage, ignite hope, and transform hearts simply by walking faithfully in the path you were called to walk. Remember, it is not about being perfect. It is about being faithful. It is not about having it all figured out. It is about taking the next right step, however small, in obedience to God. Every prayer you pray, every kind word you speak, every act of service you perform, every challenge you overcome is a testimony to the power of living intentionally for Christ. And each of these moments builds momentum, creating a ripple effect that reaches farther than you can see, touching lives and shaping destinies in ways only God can orchestrate. You may face resistance, doubt, and even failure along the way. That is part of the journey. But do not be discouraged. Do not be swayed. Let your focus remain on the eternal, and let your faith be the anchor that holds you steady when the storms of life rage around you. Stand firm in the knowledge that your purpose is divinely ordained, and that every moment lived for Christ contributes to a legacy that cannot be destroyed. In closing, I want you to feel the weight of this truth. Your life is valuable, your calling is unique, and your purpose is urgent. You were created for a reason. You were placed here for a mission. And the world is waiting for the light that only you can bring. Do not delay. Do not doubt. Do not despise the power of the moment you have been given. Live each day with intensity, with courage, and with unwavering devotion to Christ. Let every heartbeat echo with the reality that your life is meant to glorify Him, serve others, and leave an eternal impact. Rise, then, and embrace the purpose that has been waiting for you. Let urgency drive your actions, let faith guide your steps, and let love define your every interaction. Do not settle for anything less than a life fully surrendered, fully alive, and fully committed to the one who gave you life. In every moment, in every choice, in every breath, declare with conviction, I am here for a purpose. I am here to live for Christ. I am here to make a difference. And I will not waste another second. This is your time. This is your calling. This is your moment to shine. Live boldly, love deeply, and serve faithfully. Let the world see in you the power of a life lived with purpose, urgency, and unwavering devotion to Christ. The journey will not be easy, but it will be worth it. And in the end, when your life is measured not by the fleeting applause of men, but by the eternal impact of your obedience, you will know that you have truly lived. Stand firm, rise up, and let your purpose be found in every moment, in every action, in every heartbeat. Live for Christ, now and always, and watch as the world is transformed through the power of a life surrendered to Him. Every life is born with a divine purpose, a unique calling that cannot be replicated or ignored. It is the invisible thread woven by God Himself, connecting each individual to a plan far greater than the circumstances of the present moment. To live for Christ in every second is to acknowledge that this purpose is not theoretical or optional, it is urgent. Each day presents an opportunity to act intentionally, to rise above mediocrity, and to become a living testament of God's love and power. Purpose is not discovered in casual routines or fleeting pleasures. It is realized in deliberate obedience, in the willingness to surrender personal ambition to a higher calling. The reality is simple. The world does not wait, and eternity does not pause. Every moment carries significance, and every decision either aligns with or distracts from the divine mission entrusted to you. Understanding this urgency changes everything. It transforms waking up in the morning from a mundane task into a sacred opportunity. It transforms interactions with others from superficial exchanges into life-altering moments of influence. Living for Christ in every moment requires a constant awareness that your life is more than a series of random events. It is a purposeful journey designed to impact eternity. The call to purpose is also a call to self-examination. Are you living intentionally, aware of the weight of your actions? Are you moving in alignment with God's will, or are you allowing distractions, fears, and worldly values to dictate your choices? The urgency is not meant to induce anxiety, but to awaken resolve. Every opportunity to serve, to love, to speak truth, and to glorify God is fleeting. Delays, hesitation, or procrastination rob the world of the influence that only you can provide. Purpose rooted in Christ brings clarity in decision-making, strength in challenges, and joy in obedience. It compels a life that does not settle for the ordinary, but strives for eternal impact. When you embrace the calling of God with urgency, each day becomes a battleground for faith, a laboratory for growth, and a canvas for eternal significance. Living intentionally for Christ is not just an idea. It is a life-altering principle that demands action now, requiring a heart fully devoted, a mind fully surrendered, and a spirit fully alive in His presence. Life is composed of moments, seemingly small and fleeting, but each carries the potential to create a ripple that extends far beyond what we can see. Every breath we take, every choice we make, and every word we speak can either honor God or diminish His glory in our lives. Many people live as though time is endless, believing that tomorrow will always provide another opportunity to begin, to repent, or to follow their calling. But time is not guaranteed. The awareness that each moment is precious transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary and the mundane into the sacred. To live for Christ in every moment is to approach life with intentionality and mindfulness. It is to recognize that even the smallest actions, performed with a heart aligned to God, can have eternal consequences. When we interact with others, we are given the opportunity to reflect His love, mercy, and grace. When we work diligently, we honor the gifts and talents He has entrusted to us. When we persevere through challenges, we testify to the strength and faithfulness of God in our lives. There is immense power in the seemingly insignificant moments. A smile offered to a stranger, a word of encouragement, a prayer lifted in private, each act, when surrendered to God, carries the weight of eternal significance. The challenge lies in seeing life through this lens, in refusing to allow distractions, trivial pursuits, and worldly temptations to steal the sacredness of our time. Every day, every hour, every minute is a gift. To waste it is to disregard the intentionality of God. Living intentionally requires discipline, focus, and a constant evaluation of priorities. It demands that we ask ourselves daily, am I making this moment count for eternity? Am I reflecting Christ in all that I do? The answer to these questions defines the quality, depth, and impact of our lives. When we embrace the sacredness of time, every act becomes a testimony, every interaction becomes ministry, and every day becomes an opportunity to fulfill the divine purpose for which we were created. Life is fleeting, but in the hands of someone who lives for Christ intentionally, it becomes eternal in its impact. Faith and courage are the bedrock of a life fully committed to living for Christ. The world constantly presents challenges, distractions, and temptations designed to pull us away from our calling. Yet, the one who walks in faith does not rely on human strength, wisdom, or understanding. Faith anchors the soul, providing stability when circumstances threaten to overwhelm. Courage is the companion of faith, enabling believers to stand firm in the face of opposition, criticism, and fear. Living for Christ requires a willingness to reject conformity to worldly values and to pursue obedience even when it is unpopular or inconvenient. It is the courage to speak truth in a world that often celebrates compromise, the courage to love sacrificially in a culture that prizes self-interest, and the courage to persevere when the path is difficult and uncertain. Faith transforms challenges into opportunities for growth and courage, transforms fear into action. The combination of faith and courage creates a powerful momentum that propels believers forward, enabling them to fulfill their purpose despite obstacles. It is not enough to simply know God. One must actively trust Him, stepping into the unknown with the assurance that His presence guides every step. Every decision made in faith has eternal ramifications. Every act of courage inspired by Christ reverberates beyond the immediate moment, influencing others and leaving a legacy of steadfast devotion. Faith and courage are not abstract qualities. They are lived experiences manifested in daily obedience, perseverance, and sacrifice. The believer who embraces these virtues becomes a vessel of transformation, capable of impacting lives, communities, and even generations. There will be moments of doubt, moments when fear whispers louder than conviction, but faith, coupled with courage, sustains the soul and enables believers to fulfill the calling placed upon them. Living a life of purpose is not safe, comfortable, or easy. It is, however, extraordinarily rewarding, for the one who trusts God and walks boldly in His plan, experiences the joy, peace, and fulfillment that come from living in alignment with eternal truth. Ordinary life, when infused with purpose and devotion to Christ, becomes extraordinary. The daily tasks, interactions, struggles, and routines that might seem insignificant gain profound meaning when approached with Intentionality. Washing dishes, caring for family, fulfilling work responsibilities, and enduring trials can all become acts of worship when performed with the mindset of honoring God. Purpose transforms perspective, allowing believers to see divine opportunity in the mundane and to recognize that even the smallest contributions can have eternal significance. When one understands that every moment is a chance to glorify God, life becomes a series of sacred actions rather than a sequence of ordinary events. The transformation does not happen overnight, nor does it require dramatic gestures. It is cultivated through consistency, mindfulness, and a willingness to surrender every aspect of life to God. Ordinary circumstances, approached with extraordinary faith, can inspire, teach, and uplift others. A simple act of kindness, a word of encouragement, or a prayer offered in love can ripple into profound impact, touching lives in ways that extend far beyond immediate understanding. Every challenge faced with patience and perseverance becomes a testimony of God's strength and faithfulness. When believers infuse their daily routines with purpose, they create a life that is a beacon of light in a world often consumed by distraction, despair, and mediocrity. Ordinary moments become transformative opportunities when viewed through the lens of eternity. Living with this perspective fosters gratitude, joy, and peace, as the believer recognizes that every circumstance is part of God's plan and every moment is a chance to participate in His work. Purpose transforms not only the individual but the environment, community, and world around them. A life surrendered to Christ, lived intentionally, has the power to turn ordinary existence into an extraordinary testament of divine love and eternal significance. The influence of a life fully surrendered to Christ is immeasurable. Every decision, every action, every word spoken in obedience to God carries potential for eternal impact. It is not the accolades of men, the accumulation of wealth, or the pursuit of recognition that creates a lasting legacy, but the consistent, faithful, and intentional alignment of life with God's will. Even seemingly small acts of love, service, and truth can ripple outward, inspiring change, hope, and faith in others. The believer, who recognizes the eternal significance of their choices, approaches life with intentionality, understanding that influence is not measured by fame or fortune, but by the lives touched and the souls impacted. Each encounter becomes an opportunity to reflect Christ. Each challenge becomes a chance to grow, and each success becomes a testimony of God's faithfulness. Influence multiplies when exercised in humility and love, creating a legacy that endures beyond the span of one lifetime. The faithful believer understands that no effort to honor God is wasted, and that the seed sown in obedience, love, and truth will bear fruit in ways often unseen. The legacy of a purposeful life is eternal, reaching beyond temporal circumstances to touch hearts and shape destinies for generations. Living with awareness of this influence inspires discipline, courage, and intentionality, enabling the believer to prioritize what truly matters. The impact of such a life extends far beyond the individual, shaping communities, families, and even nations in accordance with God's divine plan. A life surrendered to Christ with intentionality, courage, and faith becomes a powerful testimony, leaving an indelible mark that echoes in eternity. Living with urgency and commitment is essential for fulfilling God's calling. Time is a fleeting resource, and the believer who understands this approaches life with relentless focus, seizing every opportunity to glorify God, serve others, and advance His kingdom. Urgency is not driven by anxiety or fear, but by the awareness of the eternal significance of each moment. It compels decisive action, persistent effort, and unwavering devotion. Living urgently requires setting aside distractions, refusing to procrastinate, and prioritizing what aligns with God's purpose. Every interaction, decision, and endeavor becomes an opportunity to fulfill divine calling, and the believer recognizes that delays or hesitation can result in missed opportunities to impact eternity. Commitment ensures consistency, perseverance, and resilience in the pursuit of God's will. Even when faced with opposition, doubt, or failure, the committed believer remains steadfast, motivated by faith, and empowered by the presence of Christ. Urgency paired with commitment transforms intentions into actions, dreams into reality, and ordinary lives into extraordinary testimonies. The believer who lives with this mindset becomes a vessel of influence, inspiration, and transformation. There is no time to waste. Each moment is sacred, each breath is an opportunity, and each action can leave a lasting impact. Living with urgency and commitment is the hallmark of a life fully surrendered to God, ensuring that purpose is not merely acknowledged, but actively pursued, and that the eternal potential of one's life is fully realized. As we draw this journey of reflection and purpose to a close, let us pause to recognize the profound truth that living for Christ in every moment is not a mere suggestion. It is the very heartbeat of a life that matters. Purpose is not something we stumble upon by chance, nor is it a vague dream meant for someday. It is a calling placed within us by the Creator of the universe, a calling that demands urgency, intentionality, and unwavering devotion. Every second we live carries eternal weight. Every word we speak, every choice we make, every action we take is either a reflection of Christ's love or a missed opportunity to fulfill the purpose He has entrusted to us. Understanding this transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary, the mundane into sacred, and the fleeting moments of life into eternal significance. We must never underestimate the power of a life fully surrendered. Faith and courage are our tools, our armor, and our guiding lights. They enable us to navigate challenges, resist temptation, and rise above the distractions of the world. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the strength to move forward despite it, and faith is not a passive belief, but an active reliance on God's presence in every circumstance. With faith, we see the invisible hand of God at work. With courage, we step boldly into the path He has prepared for us. Every act of obedience, every demonstration of love, every sacrifice made in alignment with Christ becomes a seed sown for eternity, multiplying beyond what our eyes can see or our minds can comprehend. Living for Christ is about more than grand gestures or public recognition. It is about the devotion that infuses our daily routines, the integrity that guides our decisions, the kindness that touches strangers, and the prayer that quietly aligns our hearts with God's will. Ordinary moments, approached with extraordinary intentionality, can ripple through lives, transforming not only our own hearts, but the hearts of those around us. Legacy is built not by wealth or fame, but by faithfulness, love, and consistency in living a life that mirrors Christ. Each moment we invest in God's calling carries infinite value, creating a story that echoes through generations and eternity itself. There is no time to delay. The urgency to live purposefully is real, the stakes are eternal, and the opportunity is now. Every moment wasted is a moment the world has denied your influence, your testimony, and your light. Commitment to Christ demands action, discipline, and perseverance. But it promises a reward far greater than what the world can offer: peace that surpasses understanding, joy that cannot be stolen, and the knowledge that your life has mattered in the grand design of God's eternal plan. So let us rise with resolve. Let us embrace each moment as sacred, each challenge as opportunity, and each day as a canvas for God's glory. Let us live not for the applause of men, nor for fleeting pleasures, but for the eternal significance of walking faithfully with Christ. Purpose found is a life unleashed, a life of impact, a life of divine intention. The call is clear, the path is set, and the time is now. Live for Christ in every moment, for your life, your influence, and eternity itself depend on it.